The Serbian campaign of World War I was fought from late July 1914, when Austria-Hungary invaded the Kingdom of Serbia at the outset of World War I, until the war's conclusion in November 1918. The front ranged from the Danube to southern Macedonia and back north again, involving forces from almost all of the combatants of the war. The Serbian army declined severely towards the end of the war, falling from about 420,000 at its peak to about 100,000 at the moment of liberation. The Kingdom of Serbia lost more than 1,100,000 inhabitants during the war, which represented over 27% of its overall population and 60% of its male population. According to estimates by the Yugoslav government, Serbia had lost 265,164 soldiers, or 25% of all mobilized people. By comparison, France lost 16.8%, Germany 15.4%, Russia 11.5%, and Italy 10.3%. Background: Austria-Hungary precipitated the Bosnian crisis of 1989 by annexing the former Ottoman territory of Bosnia and Herzegovina, which it had occupied since 1878. This angered the Kingdom of Serbia and its patron, the Pan-Slavic and Orthodox Russian Empire. In 1912 and 1913 the First Balkan War was fought between the Balkan League and the fracturing Ottoman Empire. The resulting Treaty of London further shrank the Ottoman Empire, creating an independent Albanian state while enlarging the territorial holdings of Bulgaria, Serbia, Montenegro, and Greece. When Bulgaria attacked both Serbia and Greece on 16 June 1913, it lost most of its Macedonian region to Serbia and Greece, the southern Dobruja region to Romania, and Adrianople to Turkey in the 33-day Second Balkan War, which further destabilized the region. On 28 June 1914, Gavrilo Princip, a Bosnian Serb student and member of multi-ethnic organization of national revolutionaries called Young Bosnia, assassinated the heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria in Sarajevo, Bosnia. The political objective of the assassination was to break the Austro-Hungarian South Slav provinces off from the Austro-Hungarian Empire. The assassination triggered a chain of events that embroiled Russia and the major European powers. This began a period of diplomatic maneuvering among Austria-Hungary, Germany, Russia, France, and Britain called the July Crisis. Wanting to finally end Serbian interference in Bosnia and the Balkans, Austria-Hungary delivered the July Ultimatum to Serbia, a series of 10 demands intentionally made unacceptable, intending to provoke a war with Serbia. When Serbia agreed to only 8 of the 10 demands, Austria-Hungary declared war on 28 July 1914. Military historian Hugh Strachan argued whether an equivocal and early response by Serbia would have made any difference to Austria-Hungary's behavior must be doubtful. Franz Ferdinand was not the sort of personality who commanded popularity, and his demise did not cast the empire into deepest mourning. The dispute between Austria-Hungary and Serbia escalated into what is now known as World War I, which involved Russia, Germany, France, and the United Kingdom. Within a week, Austria-Hungary had to face a war with Russia, which had the largest army in the world at the time. The result was that Serbia became just another front to the massive fight that started to unfold along Austria-Hungary's border with Russia. Serbia had an experienced army, having fought 2 successful Balkan wars in the previous 2 years, but it was also exhausted and poorly equipped, which led the Austro-Hungarians to believe that it would fall in less than a month. Serbia's strategy was to hold on as long as it could and hope the Russians and other allies could defeat the main Austro-Hungarian army. Serbia constantly had to worry about its hostile neighbor to the east, Bulgaria, with which it had fought several wars, most recently in 1913. Military forces. Austro-Hungarian. The standing peacetime Austro-Hungarian army had some 36,000 officers and non-commissioned officers and 414,000 soldiers. During the mobilization, this number was increased to a total of 3,350,000 men of all ranks. The operational army had over 1,420,000 men, and a further 600,000 were allocated to support and logistic units, while the rest, around 1,350,000, were reserve troops available for replacing losses and the formation of new units. This vast manpower allowed Austro-Hungarian army to regularly replace its losses and keep units at their formation strength. According to some sources, during 1914 there were on average 150,000 men per month sent to replace the losers in the field army. During 1915 these numbers rose up to 200,000 per month. Better source needed. According to the official Austrian documents, in the period from September until the end of December 1914, some 160,000 replacement troops were sent to the Balkan theatre of war, as well as 82,000 reinforcements as part of newly formed units. The pre-war Austro-Hungarian plan for invasion of Serbia envisioned concentrating three armies on the western and northern borders of Serbia, in order to launch an offensive from two directions with the main goal of enveloping and destroying the bulk of the Serbian army. Due to the congestion of railroad lines towards Galicia, the Second Army could only start its departure on August 18. Which allowed AOK to assign some units of the Second Army to take part in operations in Serbia before that date. Eventually AOK allowed General Oskar Pošarek to deploy a significant part of the Second Army in fighting against Serbia, which caused a delay of transport of these troops to the Russian front for more than a week. Furthermore, the Austro-Hungarian defeats suffered during the first invasion of Serbia forced AOK to permanently transfer two divisions from the Second Army to Pošarek's force. By the 12th of August, Austria-Hungary had amassed over 500,000 soldiers on Serbian frontiers, including some 380,000 operational troops. With the departure of the major part of the Second Army to the Russian front, this number fell to some 285,000 of operational troops, including garrisons. Apart from land forces, Austria-Hungary also deployed its Danube River flotilla of 6 monitors and 6 patrol boats. Austro-Hungarian soldiers were not of good quality. About 1/4 of them were illiterate, and most of the conscripts from the empire's subject nationalities did not speak or understand German or Hungarian. In addition to this, most of the soldiers, ethnic Czechs, Slovaks, Poles, Romanians and South Slavs, had linguistic and cultural links with Austro-Hungarian Empire's various enemies. Serbian. The Serbian military command issued orders for the mobilization of its armed forces on July 25. The mobilization began the following day, July 26. By July 30, the mobilization was completed and the troops began to be deployed according to the war plan. Deployments were completed by August 9 when all of the troops had arrived at their designated strategic positions. During mobilization, Serbia raised approximately 450,000 men of 3 age-assigned classes or bands called Poziv, which comprised all able-bodied men between 21 and 45 years of age. The operational army consisted of 11½ infantry and 1 cavalry division. Aged men of 3rd band were organized in 15 infantry regiments with some 45–50,000 men designated for use in rear and line of communications duties. However, some of them were by necessity used as part of operational army as well, bringing up its strength up to around 250,000 men. Serbia was in a much more disadvantageous position when compared with Austria-Hungary, with regard to human reserves and replacement troops, as its only source of replacements were the recruits reaching the age of military enlistment. Their maximum annual number was theoretically around 60,000. which was insufficient to replace the losses of more than 132,000 sustained during operations from August to December 1914. This shortage of manpower forced the Serbian army to recruit under and overaged men to make up for the losses in the opening phase of the war. Because of the poor financial state of the Serbian economy and losses in the recently fought Balkan Wars, the Serbian army lacked much of the modern weaponry and equipment necessary to engage in combat with their larger and wealthier adversaries. There were only 180,000 modern rifles available for the operational army, which meant that the Serbian army lacked between 1/4 to 1/3 of the rifles necessary to fully equip even the front-line units, let alone reserve forces. Although Serbia tried to remedy this deficit by ordering 120,000 rifles from Russia in 1914, the weapons did not begin to arrive until the second half of August. Only 1st Band troops had complete uniforms, 2nd Band troops only had greatcoats and caps, while 3rd Band had no uniforms at all and were reduced to wearing their civilian clothes. Troops didn't have service-issued boots at all, and a vast majority of troops wore their everyday footwear made of pigskin called opanak. Ammunition reserves were also insufficient for sustained field operations, as most of it had been spent in the 1912–13 Balkan Wars. Artillery ammunition was sparse and only amounted to several hundred shells per unit. Because Serbia lacked a significant domestic military-industrial complex, its army was completely dependent on imports of ammunition and arms from France and Russia, which themselves were chronically short of supplies. The inevitable shortages of ammunition, which later would include a complete lack of artillery ammunition, reached their peak during decisive moments of Austro-Hungarian invasion. Comparative strength figures represent the numbers of all Austro-Hungarian troops concentrated on southern theatre at the beginning of August in the entire Serbian army. The number of troops actually available for the operations on both sides was, however, somewhat lesser. Serbia's ally Montenegro mustered an army of some 35–40,000 men with only 14 modern quick-firing field guns and some 51 older pieces and 62 machine guns. Unlike Austro-Hungary and the Serbian army, the Montenegrin army was of militia type without proper military training or a career officers' corps. Note: according to our military formation, average war strength of following units was: Battalion, 1000 Battery, 196 Squadron, 180 Engineer Companies, 260. Strength of corresponding Serbian units was similar: Battalion, 1116 Battery, 169 Squadron, 130 Engineer Company, 250 Heavy Artillery. Order of battle of the Serbian Army. First Army, commanded by General Peter Bojovic, Chief of Staff Colonel Bosadar Terzic. Cavalry Division, 4 regiments, Colonel Branko Jovanovic. Timokaj Division, 4 regiments, General Vladimir Kondik. Timok 2 Division, 3 regiments, Mirava 2 Division, 3 regiments, Danube 2 Division, 6 regiments. Army Artillery, Colonel Božidar Srekovic. Second Army, commanded by General Stepa Stepanovic. Chief of Staff Colonel Vojislav Ivanovic. Mirava I Division, Colonel Ilya Gokovic. 4 regiments combined I Division, General Mihailo Rasic. 4 regiments, regiment commanders Svetoslav Miskovic, X and Dragolubuz and Mirkovic. Sumadia I Division, 4 regiments, Danube I Division, Colonel Milivoje Andalkovic. 4 regiments. Army Artillery, Colonel Vojislav Milojevic. Third Army, commanded by General Pavle Jurisic Sturm. Chief of Staff Colonel Dusan Pesic. Drina I Division, 4 regiments, Drina 2 Division, 4 regiments. A regiment commanders Miloje Jelizijevic, X and Obranovac Detachment, 1 regiment. 2 battalions. Jadovchetnik Detachment. Army Artillery, Colonel Milos Mihailovic. Uzis Army, commanded by General Milos Bozanovic Sumadia 2 Division, Colonel Dragutin Milutinovic 4 Regiments Uzis Brigade, Colonel Ivan Pavlovich 2 Regiments Chetnik Detachments, Lim, Zlatibor, Gornjak Detachments Army Artillery. Order of Battle of the Austrian-Hungarian Forces at the Serbian Theatre, August 1914. Balkan Force 5. Army Commander. Liborius Ritter von Frank 9. Infantry Division 21. Landwehr Infantry Division 36. Infantry Division 42. Honved Infantry Division 13. Infantry Brigade 11. Mountain Brigade 104. Landsturm Infantry Brigade 13. March Brigade 6. Army Commander. Oskar Posharek 1. Infantry Division 48. Infantry Division 18. Infantry Division 47. Infantry Division 40. Honved Infantry Division 109, Landsturm Infantry Brigade Banat Rayon and Garrisons 107, Landsturm Infantry Brigade Sundry units of infantry, cavalry and artillery from the 2. Army Commander. Eduard von Bohmer-Molly 17, Infantry Division 34, Infantry Division 31, Infantry Division 32, Infantry Division 29, Infantry Division 7, Infantry Division 23. Infantry Division 10, Cavalry Division 4, March Brigade 7, March Brigade 8.